right, guys. Welcome back to Recalibrate Podcast. My name is Leon Lopez, the host, and I'm joined again today by my wife, Rochelle. Hey, babe.
What's up, everybody?
All right, today we're going to talk about something that hits home for a lot of us, right? Staying fit and strong after you hit your 40s.
Dun, 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 dun.
All right, and I specifically today I want to talk about my recalibration process and what has helped me kind of start making my own personal changes. I mean, for all those over 40, we know what our parents were talking about back in the day. The aches and pains and
Over the hill.
cracks, yeah, all that that little voice that back of your head, it tells you all the things to not do, right? And we have to turn that voice off and basically change our ways. So I kind of want to talk about one of the main things that helped me. And by all means, I want you to kind of jump in.
Okay.
All right.
Let's do this.
Don't jump.
You want me to be really honest?
Well, I don't want you to chew my ass like a wife. Just
okay, I'll bite my tongue, everybody.
All right. Well, hey, look,
Noted.
I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Right? The things change the older we get, and we both have experienced that. But that doesn't mean that we stop pushing, right? So sooner or later, we have this wake up call, and I remember my wake up call specifically, and it started kind of like. I know it's not what you. I know what you're thinking was my wake up call, and I'll get to that. But that wasn't.
I was going to say, but I'm not going to say.
No. No. My wake up call was I remember driving one day, and we were just cruising down the street. And granted, the roads are not paved,
With the potholes?
super slick smooth, right? So you hit a bump or two, and I remember my stomach just jiggling. I may have mentioned this to you from time to time, like especially if you hit like a really bouncy road.
I'm not recalling the conversation, but I think we've all been there.
Yeah. And I just remember it was even worse than just my belly jiggling, was like my chest jiggling. And at a certain point, I don't care.
Well, that happens to us ladies all the time up on top.
Okay. Dudes aren't supposed to have breasts. And I just remember this disgusting feeling like a tub of goo, just this jelly filled nasty thing, man.
Jelly donut, Homer Simpson.
Yeah, exactly. It was disgusting to me. But then there was other things going on in life that were happening, right? So at work, I'm going to like button up my pants. My pants were getting tighter and tighter, and I know, everybody goes through this, right? But I got to a point where the clasp, the button on my waist, I couldn't even clasp it. So I was relying on the belt that I wore over it to kind of cover up the little half inch or inch of gut that was protruding through my button. So it was getting really bad. And then, you just feel like everyone's staring at you. And my response was like, okay, well.
It's probably like in your head at this point. So then you're thinking everybody that's looking at you is thinking what you're feeling.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe. But my answer was to just buy bigger fucking pants and bigger clothes in general.
Mm.
When you start going to that next level of, large to XL to double XL. And when people are buying clothes for you, like my mom, she's like, oh, you wear double XL, right? And I'm like, ugh. That's where the little wake up call thing looks. And the whole dad bod, which I fucking hate that expression. It's like, guys, it's not a badge of honor. It isn't something that we want to achieve, that, getting that title. It's an insult. And I don't care, your wife, your girlfriend, whoever is looking at you, nobody wants you to have the dad bod. What's your take on that?
I don't know. I mean, I think everybody can be sexy in their own way, in all sizes. So, I mean, I'm always into you no matter what size you are,
But no one wants to look pale.
I see the expression, but
a pale, hairy, pear-shaped.
I think it's
weakling.
maybe no different than like the mom front butt jeans.
That's a good comparison.
Like, I never want to wear those.
Yeah. Front butt and dad bod. there's a lot of family pictures out there rocking that. And, it was, but besides the, the exterior look, right? It was just feeling like crap. My sleep was shit. Just constantly tossing and turning, waking up, tossing from side to side. I had rapid heart rate, which would always get worse, like on nights that I would drink a lot, and it would wake me up. And then, I even had trouble, falling asleep sometimes, but staying asleep. So
I think we're not the only ones out there. If anybody's listening, because I think COVID, it changed a lot of couples. Like we did get into bad habits with, the booze during 2020, and then it kind of carried on as just a bad habit.
Yeah, I think, my bad habits were, sure, you could blame COVID a little bit, but it was even before that. This was a downhill spiral for a while, so I'm not going to blame COVID.
I think it just made it worse.
Yeah. I guess for some folks, it amplified it, but at the end of the day, it's just, feeling like crap. And I'll say this, I want to be as truthful as possible. But besides always feeling tired and lethargic, just walking around like I was completely drained of energy, my libido was fucking dead. And this is one of those areas where, if you're going to jump in, that was probably one of the worst side effects of bad health and bad habits, was just that even when you wanted to fucking be in the game, it wasn't there. It was a mind fuck. Like what you'd been used to your entire life was now just gone.
Yeah, a little bit has to do with age, though. A little bit, but I'm not going to I don't think as much as people think. I think it's the norm that people think that just goes away, but we're going to come back around to this. Okay. All right.
So then I had also developed that cough, which was real bad. And, I don't know what caused it. If it was, I know there was a building I was working in that had mold. I know that, it seemed like it got worse when I would drink, but there was just like these coughing fits. And I don't know if anyone listening out there has ever had this or experienced it, but
it's that dry cough, like when you get over a cough, but the cough lingers. But that was just a cough that you had without the cough.
I would be totally fine, like watching a movie or sitting in a class or something, and I would just out of nowhere get these coughing fits, and they would happen so sporadically. And then the worst time was when we were at
Andrew's celebration. Yeah.
And, I'll share this with people listening. I'm sitting there, I'm talking with my brother and friend. I got family and friends around me. And I started, again, out of the blue, just coughing so bad that I fucking doubled over and passed out. And for anyone who's passed out, you don't know that you're passing out in the moment. You just do it. You go black and you go down. And the next thing I remember,
I was witnessing.
Yeah,
I witnessed it.
Like the other side of the room, right?
No, I was in front of you, love.
You were?
I was right there with Mark and Ben.
Yeah, I remember Mark and Ben in front of me. I didn't realize you were like.
Yeah, I was right there because I was talking to Mark, and then down you went. I was like, oh my god!
Well, I just remember talking to both of them in their face, and then we're laughing it up, and then the next thing I know, I'm on my back looking up at them.
Yeah,
and it was
the weirdest thing.
Yeah, the weird. It's like you have this.
You did go like really red, purple, just coughing because you were laughing so hard. And then you just straight up like lost conscious. And like we kind of helped the fall, that you just didn't fall back, but like your knee kind of gave out and then you fell back. It was pretty scary. I was like, okay, party's over.
Yeah.
Time to go home.
No, that was, it was a weird experience. Scary. I remember other people around just kind of looking at them and looking at, the uncertainty and the fear in other people's faces. And then like when I came to, I felt fine. I don't think I was coughing anymore either. Not at that moment. But
I was just trying, at that point, they were watching you and I was just trying to wrap up and be like, okay, party's over. We're going to go home.
Yeah. But that, the bottom line was my health was not good. And that didn't even include my weight issues or my blood work. I won't get into the exact numbers of blood work, but my HDL, LDL, what they call the good and bad cholesterol, both those numbers were going in the wrong direction for anybody who's, somewhat familiar with those, which, is a big issue the older you get. And my weight, I couldn't get out of like the high 240s. I felt like I was at 248 for the longest time. And I flirted with 250 a couple times, just kind of like going back and just touching it and coming back. But for the most part, I was at that 250 range. Or 248, at 6 foot, which was just heavy, man. Heavy and out of shape, weak. And it was just unhealthy and depressing place to be. So, for me, I know I had to change my mindset. And, with everything continuing to slowly decline, you have to make that hard decision, right? Like I'm watching you at this time frame, and you were, getting in the gym, getting up on the spin bike, and you're doing these boot camps. And man, there's nothing, well, I shouldn't say there's nothing worse, but it's really hard when in your head, you're like, man, I can do this. I want to do it. And you're watching other people, like in my case, me watching you every day get up and get out and go work out. And I don't have any fucking drive to do it.
I think there's a breaking point for everybody. For mine was, obviously, we talked about it in the last episode, but Andrew going to boot camp. And I was like, if he's there, I'm going to be there with him too. Yeah. Because I needed to make a change at that point. I had hit my wall, like enough's enough. Like I don't want to live like this anymore. And I want to try to be as healthy as I can for my kids and my grandkids one day, and for myself and for you.
Yeah.
But you did have a hard time joining me, because I did put out the olive branch plenty of times. Like, come on, get in here with me. And there was that hesitation.
I think, if I'm being honest with myself, like, because I had always kind of been working out half-assed my whole life, I felt like I can jump into it anytime I want. But man, time's a motherfucker, and it'll sneak up and pass you. If the older you get, you have to stay on it, I think. And if you don't, then you can really just get behind, and it's even harder to catch up, right? And it was a hard decision to make when I did, because I liked doing things. Like I liked us going on our dates when, we like eating good food, and we like drinking when we go out. I love our wine nights on the couch.
Mm-hmm. I think what we've learned now, like looking back, is just doing it in moderation and not indulging in it.
We always heard that advice, and maybe we've even said it to each other, like, oh, keep doing everything in moderation. But that's the fucking problem, is there's certain things that I can do well in moderation, and then there's other things that I can't. And like you and I, when we go out on our dates, we like to eat. We like to eat good date food, and we like to drink, right? And, at that point, macros don't exist.
No, but
so
those dates are important to us.
No, the dates are important, but it was dialing in just how free we were with some of the choices.
Yeah, we're just doing it too much.
Yeah, doing too much. And, when people say, the whole moderation thing, it is true, but even that in and of itself takes practice. It's definitely not a light switch. If you're used to drinking, we have some friends who drink a case of beer a weekend, like no problem. Mm-hmm. And, to them, they're like, oh, my moderation is I only drink one case. But for that same individual to cut,
we're going to drink Michelob Light, and
yeah,
because it's only so many calories, and now I can have more. And
but when you drink 30 of them over, a day or a weekend,
yeah, there's not such a thing. I think, babe, the thing was that we discovered that we had created a good habit that turned into a bad habit because we did it too much, and now we've realized, push back a little bit in moderation, and that way we enjoy it more, because they are special to us when we do it. But when we were doing it too often, then it was creating bad habits, bad spending habits too. So I think now, we've really kind of had long conversations on how to fix ourselves and do it together in a certain way that we're not abusing it anymore.
Yeah. Well, I knew I had to take a different approach, and, everybody's journey is going to be different. But for me, and this one, I'm going to focus on me. I mean, with the Recalibrate show, allow this to be kind of a little intro on what one of the things, because there's a few things in my life that I've had to recalibrate. But on this one, with the fitness and health journey, I want to talk about that. My first step was to get in the gym. I had to start duplicating what you were doing and what I knew I had to do. And if I'm being honest, I approached it half-assed. It's easy to claim
start somewhere, though.
Yeah,
I think you're being too hard on yourself.
No, but I'm also just being real. I appreciate the loving wife approach, but you do your thing. But I also know I can say this now because of where I've been able to get in the last, 11 to 12 weeks versus what I was doing in the beginning. Okay. And so, when I approached it half-assed, it's easy to claim you're working out hard or getting after it when, I'm physically walking in the gym, but I wasn't really pushing as hard as I could or as I should, right? Not as I could, like I'm going to push myself till I injure myself, but push myself hard enough to where, I'm breaking a mean sweat and going out there and really having a meaningful workout because it was hard. It was hard to go from getting up off the couch and doing just day-to-day shit to actually getting in there and kicking my own ass. Because
the diet's huge.
Well, so that was the other part of it, right? I made slight food changes because I knew, you hear those phrases like, oh, abs are made in the kitchen and, blah, blah, blah. So I would go from making, my fast food choice from a burger spot to Panda because I'm like, oh, well, Panda has
yeah,
veggies.
Then I was telling you, like,
have you looked at the sodium count? And I'm like, boy, I'm eating all this Panda, this chicken and these veggies, and I feel like I should be getting better. Meanwhile, I'm blowing up because the sodium was just through the roof, just off the charts.
Yeah, throw some salt on a snail.
But then I had no accountability either. Like there was no one really checking. I would tell you, I'm going to go work out and do the thing. And that was like kind of the extent of any sort of accountability. And, with that, hey, we were still continuing to drink. That didn't really change. And, I've really changed my stance on drinking by becoming a guinea pig for myself and testing like just bottom line, just how I feel, how everything feels when I'm not drinking or reducing it back big time.
Yeah, that when we went on the date the other night, we took our daughter to prom and we went to this restaurant that was near the event and he had a mocktail. And I was telling him about this at some conventions I've been to. I was like, have you ever had a mocktail? He's like, well, what's a mocktail? And I was like, it's similar to an alcoholic drink, but there's no alcohol. So they had an old fashioned that was a mocktail and we were really curious about it. And he had tried it. I had a glass of wine, of course, with my fish, but during Lent, he had given up alcohol, and when he had it, he was really impressed with the taste of it all, and he was like, "Oh my god! Like it really, the orange bitters came out in it, and like it was satisfying to you mentally, I think, when you had the drink."
Well, it tasted like you were having a cocktail, and in that environment, on a date, it was like, "All right, well, here I have this drink, but it's not really alcohol." So all the other things that come with it, all the negative effects my body was having, I didn't have to worry about later. And I didn't feel, even with all the other stuff that they had put in it, to make it taste like that, I felt fine. It was, and we had the one anyway. But, I remember looking back now, one of the big mistakes I was making was the amount of cardio I was doing. And I was trying a bunch of different things, a bunch of different fads,
Well, you're also hearing a lot of different things too.
Yeah. Well, that's what I mean. I'm out there and I'm, you hear so much shit. There's so much noise online. So I'm like, all right, taking that approach of more is better. Right. So I went from doing 2 a day cardio sessions on the spin bike. I'm spin in the morning, spin in the afternoon, 45 to 60-minute sessions. And, then I mixed that with the OMAD, the 1 meal a day, the whole
fasting.
Intermittent fasting thing, which, hey, for some people, I get it. I've seen it enough on other podcasts and you hear about it from these doctors that fasting is probably good for some people under certain circumstances. But for me, I lost weight, but I lost, I think, more muscle than anything. Mm-hmm. Especially on that 1 meal a day bullshit. I wasn't getting near the macros, the protein that I needed on 1 meal a day. And more than often what was happening was I would be so fucking hungry by the time my little window opened up that if I wasn't home or I wasn't around you where like normal healthy food was cooking and I went like out at work or something on the beat and it's like, well, now I'm just going to splurge on, whatever food I can get my hands on, whether that was In-N-Out or, just something, another big thing of Panda.
McDonald's.
Just one bad choice after another. So then I'm doing this one meal a day, not getting the right amount of protein or anything else that I need. And then I'm coming home doing a ton of cardio, thinking like, man, this is going to help me burn through the fat. So if someone's out there listening, they're like, oh, that's what I'm doing. Chances are that is only going to go so far, because you may lose some weight initially, but unless you're feeding your body the right fuel, it's just going to be a fucking waste of time, because you're going to burn through whatever muscle you have. And you're going to get to a point where you're still not going to be happy with it. You're going to feel weak. I felt super weak, and I could sense the muscle deteriorating on me at a rapid pace. Do you remember that time frame?
Yeah, I do. I also had to deal with somebody telling you to do keto as well, and I was like, "Oh, this
yeah."
is
Well,
not working.
it was one bad thing after another. Keto and OMAD and intermittent fasting and tons and tons of cardio. It was just the internet video after internet video and doctor's visits and all these different advice. And at some point, I guess you got to look at the person giving the advice, and you're like, well, fuck. Even if they're doing it, like, I don't want to look like that. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how they were feeling, but for me, there was a certain thing in my head where I knew what I wanted to look like, or at least get close to. But then I definitely wanted to feel better.
Well,
so
here comes the trash man.
Yeah,
You're gonna hear it in the back.
Everyone has a trash man come. So there's so much conflicting advice out there, right? Going from video to video. I remember even going kind of old school, and I went out in the shed and I pulled out some of the old muscle and fitness magazines that we still have. And I was like, all
Leon,
right,
you have tried so many things. Like, I'm like, what is this charge here? Like, what is this fitness fad? Or and then you downloaded like another workout, and it was just like body. I think you did Body for Life. That one worked for you really well.
That one worked back in the day. That was good. Yeah, it was a good plan.
And then you did the P90X. Though, I mean, we're actually, tomorrow's our anniversary. We're coming up on 26 years. So
how did you do such a hard change?
Well, because I'm thinking over the years, like all the little things, like Body for Life was a long time ago.
Yeah,
and
that was a long time.
P90X and all that.
That was a long time ago.
Yeah, I mean.
Yeah, but I mean, more. Those were years and years ago. I'm talking more recent, like going from one internet guy to another. All these different influencers and stuff, and different coaches. And at the end of the day,
you have been influenced.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, sure. Initially, some of these, and I'm not going to name some of the other ones, like some of the ones that are out there now, because they didn't work for me. So I'm not going to give any, credence or anything. But I'll just leave it at that. Like, if you've been on YouTube or you've been on Instagram, chances are, these people get enough looks that you've seen some of the folks I'm talking about. And I've tried various programs, and they just didn't work for me for whatever reason. They didn't work, whether it was on me, whether it was on them. There just wasn't enough to, I guess, keep me engaged, and for me to see results. But I knew I needed some kind of coach. At least I felt like I did. And I wanted someone to direct me, to, tell me where and like when I was fucking off, when I was getting off track. I didn't want the sugarcoating. And, that all that time had passed, right? When I'm looking at these websites and these influencers, I just started seeing that their content wasn't worth the shit. And it was just clickbait and noise, right? And that was before I came across my current coach, Nick, the Fit Over 40 man. And when I remember when I looked at his stuff, it was really just like, okay, well, at the beginning, it was just another guy. And I think the first impression was like, man, this dude's fucking ripped. And you can tell he's older. He's definitely around my age, right? So here's a dude in his 40s, great shape. I assume, relatively good health. And, I knew I didn't want some, 20 or 30 something coach telling me like, oh, hey, do this, do that. Like, well, if you're in your 20s and you're fucking jacked, well, you're supposed to be, right? Give me somebody with some mileage in their life who's got family responsibilities or a career and a fucking mortgage, and they know all this crap that's on them, and they still look like that. Like that's what I was looking for. And this dude, the Fit Over 40 man, he kind of had that. So it was kind of hitting a lot of different things on my list. And I started looking at his Instagram videos, which are, he's just got a ton of content, from teaching guys about macros, what do's and don'ts, what to do with health and fitness in the gym, different workouts, like muscle specific workouts and the recipes. So I started trying some of that. And just by following those videos initially, I started feeling a little different.
All right, so let's back up a little bit. So you've been a student of his now for how long?
It was right around the end of last year when I think I came across his content.
No, I know, but when you decided to hey, I'm going to use him for coaching, how long have you been in February. The program?
So it's been, I'm starting week, so 12 weeks.
You've been with him for 12 weeks.
12 weeks.
Yeah. And I mean, your progress has been really good. I've seen major improvement.
Oh yeah. And, I credit it to, obviously I'm the motherfucker out there throwing the weight up and getting in the gym, but it's because of his program, the mindset. And I can't speak enough for kind of the community that he's created. I don't know if that was his intent, if he was just trying to help guys, lose weight and get healthy. But one of the best things I like about, jumping on the app is it isn't just seeing what I'm supposed to eat, or the different goals that I have for the day in addition to my workout. But there's a whole community on that thread of dudes who are in similar situations with me. They're fed up and they hit their rock bottom point for one reason or another. And man, I can go out and I can be having the shittiest day, like, oh, this workout's going to suck. And I don't want to do it. I don't want to wake up at 4:30 and get out there. It's cold, it's raining, or it's whatever. And then I'll look at some of these guys on the thread, and there's dudes out there like Justin, man, that'll just hype you up. And this is in addition to Nick himself, who's always throwing shit out there.
Yeah, but he also does the one-on-one and the Zooms, which
I
think totally help you guys.
Well, the Zooms are one of my favorite part of the whole process. And anyone anyone looking for someone, this is what I guess I want to share that you're going to get with this, because it just fucking helped me so much that I would want someone else to experience it. So when he does the Zooms and we're on there, and for anyone listening who's in the thread that doesn't get on the Zooms, you got to fucking get on there, man, because there's so much great input that he's given. And
yeah, but you have to be a student of his to be on the Zoom.
Yeah, the clients. This is what I'm talking about.
So, if you're bringing him up, why don't you explain what you actually get?
Well, I'd like to get Nick on here and he can talk about what to get, but
I know, but he made a program for you.
Well, I'm going to tell you, the program is going to cover everything that somebody would possibly want, right? You're going to get meal ideas, full-blown recipes on idiot-proof how to cook it. And one of the best parts about it is so simple. It is for the average idiot guy like myself. If you weren't around, I would have the ability to survive, because it's 10 ingredients.
Simple could be boring though, but what I mean?
But there's variations.
People.
There's variations. And that's the other part about the community too. They're hey, we took Nick's, recipe and I tried a little bit of this, a little bit of that. But, overall there's 10 to 20 ingredients tops that you need in life if you're a dude, and you're going to be just fine. You're going to be just fine. Yeah. This is, you're not going to find any Gordon Ramsay bullshit on there, but what you're going to find is smart, simple meals that you need. And it's so much easier than you realize. But if you don't know what the fuck you're doing,
I think it's easy. But to be honest, my husband.
Maybe I should say
tooth.
Maybe I should say it's simple. I'm going to get to that.
You have a sweet tooth.
Yeah, and everyone has a wife, and they know exactly what you're doing right now. Don't worry, I'll get to that. I'm not going to leave anything out.
No, I'm not saying you're leaving it out. I was just I think sometimes simple can make you a little bit more hungry. Well,
okay, I'm going to say it's simple, but it's not easy. Is that the way you say it? I think so. The recipes are simple. Mm-hmm. The shopping list is simple. Now, is it easy to go out there and do that when you have all these vices? No, it may not be easy. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you're someone who has a sweet tooth like me. I threw myself down in this group chat I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, man, I obliterated Cadbury eggs. During
it's
Easter,
my fault. I bought them.
Yeah,
but
she bought the
every
fucking
season we buy them, and Costco had this big ass bag, and I was just like, oh, Cadbury's,
And
So-
my daughter and I, man, we can't walk past the bowl without just
crunch.
just tearing them up. And
me and Andrew have a little bit more discipline when it comes to sweets,
but we had that one weekend, man, and I couldn't fucking stop. I couldn't stop. And it was just
I'm sorry.
one after another. So that following week, I threw myself down. I'm like, fellas, I fell off. I was still doing my workouts. I was still hitting other milestones in the app, but man, it was kind of all for naught. When you
what did
break
he
down,
say when you had the Cadbury's?
it was one of the. He took it easy on me. I think if it was a continued thing, he'd probably give me the old virtual bitch slap and be like, fucking knock it off. We're doing this for a reason. It's one thing to have it taste, but you can't bathe in it. Couldn't jump into a pool of Cadbury's eggs like I wanted to. But, I guess the one solid reminder with that is even falling back into those things that I just absolutely loved, whether it was chocolate for some people or booze for others, having a beer, is at the end of it, when you fall back to that simplistic weakness, you go right back to feeling like shit. And it's like this little internal failure, like, God damn it, I just, whether you pay money for a coach or you're putting time and effort in and you have people relying on you, like, I just went right back to the same shit that got me here in the first place. So it was a short detour before I got right back on path. And, I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I've been the poster child for a program, but I've been doing pretty damn good.
Everybody falls off the wagon over here and there, but you're doing good. You're being more disciplined as time has gone on.
Yeah. The accountability is huge with that. And it's like, waking up to having a structured program, right? I think is
yeah,
big.
You've been
like
waking up. You've been doing the whole Mel Robbins 5-second rule. You wake up at 4:30.
No more snooze button. No snooze button. As soon as the alarm gets off,
I touch the bed to the right, and you're not there, and I just feel your big fat pillow.
And what is it you say when the weights hit the ground in the gym?
What, the clingy?
Yeah.
What do I say?
When you said you were feeling it.
I was feeling the vibration on the floor, like when I was getting ready, like brushing my teeth in the morning. Like I'm waking up, and then I just hear the weights kind of fall, and then I could feel a little bit. I don't know, like just the shake.
The earth shake from the amount of weight.
Yeah, it's kind of like when you hear when you hear Pendleton drop the bombs, and you're like, oh,
that's right.
Getting after it. That's good though.
Yeah. Oh, it is. But so when going back to what you were saying or asking about his program, so you get that with the recipes, you get obviously a very detailed workout, and it covers every inch of your fat out of shape body, my fat out of shape body. And, when one of my first, or I guess one of my main, not setbacks, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, my concerns before I started working with him, like he's based out of the East Coast and I'm over here on the West Coast. Mm-hmm. So it was like, man, how the fuck is it really going to work out if I had questions, or if I have concerns, like, if I don't know if I'm doing something right, or
I think it has for the most part, right?
Oh, dude, it totally has. So, but again, I credit Nick with the way he has set not just the app, but just his program up in general. Because if I ask something, you can communicate on the app, but then I've also hit him up just text, on the side. If you have questions, he responds in text. He responds through the app. He responds. One of my favorite. We've had a couple phone calls together, but one of my favorite things is he'll just send these like video explanations. So he's just talking and answering your question real time, which is, I mentioned this in a testimonial. It was like, it is absolutely the next best thing than having him right there next to you, right? I mean, you can have a coach sit there and, of course, physically explain it, mm-hmm. but he takes the time, he does the video to answer the question. He has videos on how to correct form, and which is huge. He wants you to film yourself, send it over, and then he'll, kind of tweak it, send it back, show you, the little things that have to be changed and altered in order for you to correct your technique. So on the workout side, it's the absolute best thing that I can imagine you can find. And again, you can witness to this, attest to this. I've been through a number of programs, and there's a lot of ones out there, a lot of highly advertised coaches and programs that don't offer the same fucking thing. And then, going back to the community, I just can't speak enough about, the thread that we have with the guys and the Zooms.
I also think there's a personality match too that has to kind of happen with the coach and the student.
Yeah. He I don't think I think like from a professional standpoint, like he's not going to come out like kick people in the nuts right away if you're all dicked up. But I do think that when he gets a feel for you and he gets a little more comfortable, he's going to tell you exactly what you need to hear the way you have to hear it. And for me, I don't mind, the blunt approach. Like that's sometimes at this point, I don't have, again, I mentioned earlier, I don't have time for the sugarcoating. So I love, and anyone who's seen his Instagram videos, when he jumps on there and he's like, hey, do you want to know why you're still fat? It's because of this. You want to, we've talked about his Peloton videos, and I'll give you a voice. You have a voice, right? Don't even get me
started about that.
Nick,
if you're listening, I heard what you said about Peloton. Skinny Shell was not happy.
Yeah, we do have Peloton has some good stuff.
They're improving. And now they even have like cardio. You can do dual classes, cardio with weight training, which, that was my thing after 40 is like I was doing all the cardio too. And I was like, what the hell? I'm not seeing this change. And the minute I threw weights into it, my physique started changing. And that's what I was missing.
Yeah.
Was weight training. The cardio wasn't enough. Mm-hmm. I needed weights.
No, in fact, it's, what I've learned. That's, I guess one of the other things is that you get with Nick and his program is what he teaches you. Like of all,
and you could do this obviously at the gym or your own personal gym, right?
Yeah.
So it's just
I know some
of
the guys in the group go to a public gym, and then there's a handful of us who work out at home. Like I work out at home. Yeah, you could do either or. Now so the other day we've got a couple guys who travel a lot, and they're like, "Hey, we're dealing with hotel fitness centers, which some of them are okay, but for the most part, most of them suck. They don't have enough stuff, right? At least not the shit that we're doing." But he came up with a whole travel workout routine and a travel diet plan, like how to get your macros, how to get enough protein, how to hit the right workouts when you're traveling a lot. So that's just kind of a cool thing. Like we got a trip coming up, and it's like, all right, well, these are some of the things I want to consider that these other guys have experienced, because I'm not just going to take a week off of working out. I still got to hit it. So, what are some of the alternatives that I'm going to have to consider? And like, there's just so much stuff that's covered. I thought I was just buying into a workout program where some guy's going to be like, hey, do this, Monday, Tuesday, Friday, whatever. It's been a hell of a lot more than that. So anyone who is just lost, like where I was at, and you've tried a bunch of different shit, I would give like my full-fledged recommendation that his program, as long as you follow it, he'll always introduce when there's
why don't you give him a full plug? Because you just keep saying Nick, like people don't know.
Well, the Fit Over 40 Man on Instagram, the Fit Over 40 Man, you go to Instagram, look him up, and you can't miss him.
Is he blue check marked?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. He's got a ton of content on there. I mean, he's going to unfuck your fat body if that's what you're looking for. And there's a lot of dudes out there right now who still live in their glory high school days, or maybe their days in the military, or when they're in their 20s and 30s, and you've dropped off for whatever reason. Life hits. Maybe life has body slammed you, and you need to get back in to just feeling better, looking better. He's going to unfuck you is basically what it boils down to. And there's, from someone who's tried a lot of different programs out there.
I will say this though.
This one will work.
I feel like you, but it has to come from within too, like how hard you're trying. Like if you're going to do the program and then sit down and eat a bag of Cheetos at the end of the night, like you're truly following it. Like I said, like the student, you wholeheartedly have to go into it.
Yeah.
You know, everybody can like, I tried it, it didn't work. I don't think it's the programs that don't work. It's the people. It's us. Like, it's all. I think a lot of that has to do with mindset and diet.
I know what you're saying, but I will say that like some of those other programs that that I've done, you know, it was still me and it was still my mindset, but it was just something that clicked with the Fit Over 40 man. And, you know, for anyone who's looking for him, it's Nick Conaway, the Fit Over 40 man. It just clicked. Like the whole package in that program. If you're a dude in your 40s, I mean, it's going to work out of your 40s and, you know, even in your 30s and 20s, he's going to, the shit just works. It's it's a,
you know,
well, that's a great point.
Example.
So our son in his early 20s has been hitting these workouts and is just kind of catapulted him into a fucking monster. It's almost, I don't know if it's a legal definition, but his physique is taken over into a completely different world. So if you're a middle-aged dude, you know, older guy like me.
You are middle-aged.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like me.
Okay.
Like me, it's going to help. It's going to take your fat, soft body and turn you into something.
I will say though, with Andrew, because he is younger, like he's seen like major, like he didn't have a lot of weight to lose. So
that's my point. Yeah.
Yeah. He's seen a lot of faster results.
If you're a younger guy and you follow this program, you are going to get into freak mode. Like, and I don't mean, like I know some chicks don't like the crazy over the top, you know, Mr. Olympia physiques and stuff. Like Andrew has just turned into a fucking monster. I mean, that picture we took of his back the other day was unreal for a 20-year-old. I'm looking around at 20-year-olds today and they're that skinny fat, right? Mm-hmm. They look like they're in shape, but they don't have a fucking muscle under their shirt to save their life.
And now there's e-bikes everywhere and nobody's moving their legs.
Nobody's doing anything anymore. Where this kid is pushing solid iron, dialing in his macros. Like I didn't even know what the fuck a macro was when I was his age. I sure as hell, you know, I thought eating a BK broiler at Burger King, I had a good day.
But that's what we wanted to do for our kids. We wanted to educate them on stuff we didn't know.
Yeah.
You know, like we're not going to let them make the same mistakes.
Yeah.
So
anyway, I mean, I just liked his approach, and I've gone now from that initial 248, 250 range and down to 225 and going and counting.
That's really good.
Yeah. My next goal to check in is 223. So I'm right there.
Ladies, if you are listening, if there's any ladies listening, don't be mad. I know that I have been working out and he'll come in like, I lost 10 pounds. And I'm like, oh, I lost like 2. Like, what the hell? It's so hard as a girl. It really is, like, as a woman with hormones and all this shit that we go through in our 40s, premenopausal, all that shit. Oh my God. That's a difficult one. Nick, enlighten me.
Yeah. You know,
enlighten me.
I'm, like I said from the very beginning, I'm speaking from my perspective, a dude in his mid 40s who has hit this program with everything that was thrown out, with some falling off here and there, but still extremely happy with the results. And I still got a long way to go. So I just felt I was at a good point, 11, 12 weeks into this program, that, man, this shit works. This program absolutely works. But it does take, you as the individual, you got to want to do it.
And let's mention your libido now.
Oh, very well.
So, I mean, you want to be real, I'm here.
when I hear these guys, and there's dudes I work with who, we these topics pop up, and it's, I hear the same Band-Aid getting thrown out there, like, hey, go get some testosterone, go get, a pill or an injection or whatever. And I'm here to tell you, you don't fucking need that. You don't need it. And as living proof from someone who had very low T-scores, to going through this program, it has completely changed that side of things from, waking up at attention to just having your libido back to where it's men where you think you'd want it to be. And it's just,
and we're both guilty of taking the pellets of testosterone.
Oh yeah.
I've tried the pellets. I got really same thing for myself,
Yeah. And there's so many horrible side effects with that.
It just, overall it wasn't good.
You're, as from a man's perspective, you start taking testosterone, your body says, okay, well, if I don't have to produce it, I'm not going to produce it. And then you have to start leveling out your estrogen and all this other crap. And it's a moneymaker. It's just a gimmick. And basically what it is, it's for dudes who don't want to fucking work out. It's an easy crutch for guys who don't want to get into the gym and throw up heavy weight and get their body to where they need to be.
Just moving in general is healthy, like even if it's a walk or whatever. But now, because I was on the same kind of bench, where I was just like, well, is this normal? Like, is this where is this where it goes with age? And then when I had started in the gym again and being consistent, I think that's the key word, is consistency. I felt the change as well. I mean, my drive went up, my libido went up, but also my mental health went, like, it started improving. Clarity. I feel like that is, that's like, a great point. I mean, my brain fires off, especially when I'm doing cardio. I feel like that's when I have like the best thoughts and like, hey, let's try this. And, when it comes to our business and just trying to get new ideas, like I feel like my brain really fires off. And that's usually when I will pop off and get on Instagram myself, because I'm like, this is good. I feel good. I want to get this out into the universe like now. Yeah.
And when you hit that kind of natural high, you want it again. So you want to show that, going back to consistency.
Yeah, you want that feeling. It's a good feeling to have. Like, it's
you want to go back to the gym.
Yeah.
And that's what I mean, like, even with the community. So when with the Fit Over 40 Man's app, you track your stuff, right? So I'm on there tracking my food, I'm on there tracking my workouts and some of my different goals, how much water I'm taking in and steps I'm getting and all that stuff. And I'm tracking these different things. And with that, you can't help but look at, hey, what are some of the other guys doing, right? That are in the community. And when you see, hey, maybe one of them's had an issue. They hit a bump in the road. And, sometimes I'll throw out stuff and hopefully it helps them. But what I can speak to is the things that the guys say on there sure as hell help me a lot, have helped me a lot through a lot of different days and workouts. But when I hit those natural highs, like you're talking about, man, when you have a great workout and you get pumped up by Nick or by one of the other guys, man, you go crush the day. And then you look forward.
Yeah, you have when you come home from work or you're at work, like, you have a more productive day.
Oh, yeah. 100%, man.
But the good thing is, isn't it, with working out, like in the morning, like it's burning all day long when you're doing weights. Like, it's just when you think you're not even burning calories, you are.
Yeah.
You got that walking treadmill now at work.
Yeah, you got to get steps in, man, any way you can.
We just don't walk that much anymore as a community.
Mm-hmm.
I got my steps in at Stagecoach, though. I paid up for the year.
That's true. It's probably washed with the amount that was being consumed.
I was good. I enjoyed myself, but I didn't overindulge.
Well, speaking of having these like clarifying thoughts when you're on cardio. So I had this thing hit me the other day, and I'm on one of my long runs, and I thought, like, okay, how would I describe this program? And I thought of myself as like, the old big steam locomotives, the trains, right? And you got the guy who's like shoveling coal in there, to get the locomotive going. So I kind of visualize myself like I'm this train. I'm this big, heavy locomotive. And I was just loaded down. I don't want to sit here and say like, woe is me, I was depressed, but it was depressing with where I was at. Okay.
I think everybody has different plateaus that they hit too, where they're just like, hey, I'm done.
Yeah.
For you hit that wall.
Yeah. And that depression was like the black coal that's in this train, right? Mm-hmm. It was just like dark and black, and gritty and ugly. And it was like, okay, I want to take this depression and I want to use it as fuel, like the steam locomotive does, right? And I was picturing like this depression just getting thrown into my internal fire and like you turning that shit around and using it as a fuel to catapult me into my workouts. And where I would equate like you and Nick as my coach into this is like all the different trailers that the locomotive pulls is like my responsibilities. It was you, it was the kids, it was my job, it was, just doing stuff around the house. It was like every, the bills. It was every responsibility that a guy has. And it isn't going to go anywhere unless I'm driving it, unless I'm doing something to actively help each and every one of you, right? And where Nick kind of filled in was he was the engineer, or I think they call him a fireman, the guy who shovels the coal into the engine.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's it. This whole picture just came together for me. Like all that energy that I had inside of me was being directed right where it had to be so that I could build up steam and enough energy to not only move myself, but move everything that's important to me in my life. And that's how I would, the analogy I would use and how I would categorize how this program has changed my life over the last several months. And just moving forward, I think, because when you hit these natural highs and you hit these changes, you're not going to go back. I'm not going to go back to where I was at.
Sometimes you need to buy, like the new tennis shoes or whatever it is that's going to make you feel good about just getting out there and getting after it. I think, like, oh, I got some new running shoes and put some miles on these. Yeah.
You got to take the first good step, right? And you have to, whether for some folks, that might be, like you said, just buying a new piece of equipment. If you're looking at your old ass tennis shoes that you haven't used in forever and you just need new ones, the whole walk before you run, check out his videos. Check out his videos first, like I did, and see if any of those work for you. Because chances are, if those little snippets, those little, bite-sized nuggets he gives you, if they work for you, then the whole program's going to work for you. And I think the benefits are far more than fitness. I mean, you guys have gotten into it like we've talked about. Andrew, I know you've jumped on some of the recipe type stuff. We're eating yams like we've never eaten fucking yams before. And then with Katie, with some of the stuff she has coming up, her whole program is kind of built loosely off of, what I've been doing.
And it's sad to say, I mean, really looking at our daughter and being, 1 year away from graduating high school, like just how pathetic the physical education system has got.
Well, it's non-existent.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's public schools, the PE system. It's, for some kids, some schools, I guess they still actively engage with, basketball, or they allow kids to walk around the track. But for the overwhelming most part, kids change into PE gear. They walk around with their cell phones and they don't do shit. It's an embarrassment. And it's one of the saddest declines that you'll see in the public school system, over the last 3 to 4 decades.
I don't know. Just too many Karens voice their opinions out there. I hate saying that, but really is like, my son or my daughter can't do this. Like, well, then, okay, fine. Don't let them. But it affected so many people and it just like started snowballing and it's just ruined everything.
Yeah. Well, this is where, we're
our standards are just embarrassing.
We're proponents of mom and dad have to fix it. I'm sure as hell not going to rely on some fucking school system.
Yeah, you just don't see anybody out there anymore. If I do see anybody out there on an e-bike, okay, at least they're outside. But I just feel like the average kid playing in the street, it just doesn't happen anymore. The news has created so much fear, media, they contributed so much to us that we live in this fear now. Like we can't even let our kids out to play.
Yeah.
It is sad.
It boils down to the parents. The parents have to drive the kids and what they're going to do. Again, what the school says, what the news says, they're both driven by, this isn't the show for that right now, but they're both driven by
let's change the subject now. That's fine.
They're both driven by,
sorry, everybody.
Sources.
I pivoted again.
Yeah. Get you back on track.
All right. 40s. What else? What do you think?
So the benefits with how it's hit family, the habits that have changed, even, the food that we have in our fridge now. All these changes that have slowly kind of come into play for us in like the healthiest and the best way. It's just been a game changer for me. And, it boils down to you realize that you just have to make the choice. And if you make that choice to better yourself, well, this is a direction that I took in one aspect of my life when it came to fit and health, being fit and healthy. The Fit Over 40 man with Nick Conaway was just what helped me. And I think it will help a lot of people, to be honest. But it was a direction I needed. The accountability was a game changer. And I can't say enough for that community, but it's how you recalibrate yourself.
So what have you done mentally or spiritually in your 40s different?
Well, those are it's funny that you mentioned that. So the mental change is a different episode I have coming up on some of the changes with that. But, I will say that's even one of the things that's discussed in our little community, or, guys are throwing out books that have helped them. And it's not just from a fitness standpoint. It's just from, whether you're prioritizing your day, James Clear, with name of his book escapes me, Making Good Habits.
Yeah, it's Good Habits.
Oh, Atomic Habits.
Atomic Habits. There you go.
Yeah, it's book like books and suggestions like that.
On the book I'm reading right now, Let Them by Mel Robbins.
Another great one.
Great. God, I wish that book would have been handed to me 20 years ago.
Yeah. And that's just it. When you start to get these guys, these like-minded guys who are, looking to change their lives for the better, to help themselves and to help their families. And then you're like, okay, well, how are you getting there? And they make these sort of suggestions, like the book that you just suggested. Like, people take a look at this, and I don't care if you're male or female, or whether you're 40s, older than your 40s or younger, it's going to help you. And it's going to set you up with the mentality that it's just going to benefit you and everyone around you. And so when it comes to, what am I doing mentally and spiritually? Well, there's a lot of things, but I'm going to save that for another episode. Because there's a lot of great things, a lot of great suggestions that I've gotten. That
you've been disciplined though by getting up. We meal prep now. That's like a big thing to contributing to like your eating habits.
Yeah, meal prepping is huge.
Having golden eggs in the morning. They're so expensive.
Yeah, well, they've come down a little bit. But yeah, for a while there was an expensive breakfast every day just to get 3-4 eggs in you, in addition to a couple other things. But again, it's all simple. The meals are simple. The shopping is simple. When you take that stuff out of the equation and you're not so bombarded with, oh, what am I going to make day to day? Boom, the meal prepping. You know what you're going to eat. It doesn't have to be the same food. If you decide to change it up, it's a simple, small adjustment. And again, he discusses that with the shopping list and some of the different ideas. Everything, seafood, chicken, red meat, it's really interesting when this stuff is in front of you. And there's probably somebody listening right now that's like, oh, well, you can get all that shit on the internet. Yeah, maybe you can. But I was that guy who didn't know where to look for it individually. And this was wrapped up in one big, smart fucking fitness bow that just made total sense and has been
simplified for
an
you.
Absolute life changer. Yeah. All right. Well, I think, hopefully people understand that I totally support this program. And I'm a client of his for sure, but it's not like I get any kickbacks from it. I just think that it helped me so much, and it's now helping my family, that I think everyone should use this. Because especially if you've hit that point like I did, man, and you're feeling the health problems and you're having trouble sleeping and your sex life sucks, all of those things will change. Every single one of them will change. My libido is up. My sleep is 1,000,000 times better. My energy throughout the day is substantially better. And my workouts just continue to get stronger and stronger.
And Nick, he does use Peloton still, just so you know.
Hell yeah, I gotta get my cardio in. He's got built-in cardio. He's not anti-cardio. I'll throw that out.
The spin bike and the rower.
Yeah, spin bike, rower. I run.
They have some good programs, running programs.
Yeah, and I stretch. Oh, I can't stress enough stretching and supplementation, which he hits on those. But man, stretching in your 40s, fellas, whether you're into yoga or just kind of some old school stretching or some mobility, it's got to be twice a day. You got to get it in the morning. You got to get it at the end of the day.
Yeah, even Andrew said that the other day on a text. He was like, Mom, he was like,
well, for so long, I was so hard-headed, and I'm still hard-headed in a lot of areas, but I was so hard-headed with stretching. I would go into shit cold, and it causes injuries. It causes strains. It just makes your body feel like you got run over by a truck, and it's stupid, and it's unnecessary.
And I think a lot of it, though, like is time, right? So most people are in a early morning commute, late evening commute, and time is everything. So I think that would be like something good too, like to like kind of just go over, getting that in, and the fact that the discipline part about you waking up earlier just to get it in, even your stretches,
Yeah, well, that's just it, is you have to find time in your day. You got 24 hours, okay? And maybe it means you don't get 8 hours of sleep. Maybe you get 7. And that one extra hour is going to be all the difference if you're using that for your workout or if you're using that to stretch. And if you're just starting, if you're just using to go take a walk, you got to get into it. You don't have to jump into it, with both feet. You're going to have to do it smart so that you don't get injured, because once guys get injured, then it kind of screws everything up, and it really does put a hindrance on you wanting to move forward. So the time is in your day. Waking up earlier, cutting out the screen time, cutting out TV, put that shit down, because it absolutely does nothing. I heard Rogan say the other day, and I'm a huge Joe Rogan fan, but he saves whatever Instagram scrolling or whatever shit he's looking at for his toilet time. And that's the only time. That's the only time he looks at it, and it's like, okay, you're going to get the gist of what's out there in the time that you're just sitting on the shitter. And after that, to sit there and senselessly
I'm
scroll.
the wrong show now. God, we're talking about shitters.
To sit there and scroll endlessly, for whatever.
No.
It's just,
can you just do your business and get off the pot? That's just
well, I'm
disgusting.
not saying to sit there for an hour either, but I'm just saying the time that you are sitting.
Why don't you just scroll if you're going to walk on the treadmill or like?
This is not a bathroom session. I'm just saying his point was, in the short amount of time that he's there, that's when he limits to his scrolling.
Well, I'm glad I didn't hear that show.
Yeah. All right. We've talked a lot.
All right.
We've laughed, we've cried, we've shared our thoughts.
We cried. Oh, your Cadbury's.
Man, anyone out there who eats Cadbury's mini eggs, they know what I'm talking about.
I think one last tidbit before we go is injury or that pain that you can get in your 40s where you're just like, I got this pain in my knee, I got this pain in my shoulder. And like, if you're really trying to hit it hard, like just listen to your body. I have found I know, it might say you got to work out 5 days a week, but if you got to give it a 2-day rest just to feel better, it's better than having a 3-4 week injury where you can't do anything.
Yeah.
It's, KT tape has been a wonder for me in my 40s with injuries. I highly encourage that with any injury, actually, just the KT tape, how it stretches and it brings more blood flow, and the flexibility and the movement you get with that is so much better.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's a great point, because the injury bug is such a major setback. It isn't considered when you're excited and you're all giddy and you want to jump into a new program. But then once that injury hits, it's so deflating, and it's hard when you're trying to come back from an injury to get back into.
I'm sorry. I'm laughing at. I was just thinking about how I went to Costco, and I think I almost spent $100 on like arthritis stuff.
Oh, well, hey,
man.
man.
My God, I had the Ceylon Pause, I had BioFreeze, I had like, I don't know, whatever, like Bengay that they were selling. I was like, oh, wow. And then Aleve, the Advil I bought. I was like, oh, the gel capsules work faster.
And it all gets used too. Look, I would rather spend money on some ibuprofen, KT tape, and the creams and stuff.
Oh, and Epsom salt. I love Epsom salt baths. They really do help for sprains or injuries.
Yeah, I would rather spend money on that than have to spend it on some fucking diabetic medication because I'm a fat, just out of shape, waste of life, squandered opportunities type thing. So,
but I'm talking about joints, obviously.
You're going to spend the money somewhere, so spend it on something that's.
It does get better. The more you lose weight, you get stronger. Your joints get stronger. Your calcium in your bones get stronger.
Yeah,
everything just gets better, you guys.
Everything gets better.
With the big old smile over there.
You bad girl. All right, listen, we're going to wrap this one up. This was really important to me because this was a show that has helped me. I'm sorry, this was a program that has just helped me immensely, and I just wanted to share it. And it was part of the my recalibration process was working with Nick, the Fit Over 40 Man. You can find him on Instagram at the Fit Over 40 Man. Nick Conaway, his program, his everything he's put together is it's just been awesome. And then I am Leon Lopez with my wife, Rochelle, today, who joined me.
Oh, and you can find us on Peloton, too. I am Skinny Shell on Peloton, and Leon is Deathcore Trooper 49, right?
Yep. Yeah, on Peloton. We're on there because we do use it, man. It is important. The stretching and they do have good cardio sessions, even though I don't think...
Stretching, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, lots of stuff.
But you can also find me on Recalibrate_pod on Instagram. Go ahead and DM me, hit me up, ask me questions. Let's talk about some things. And if you had any, personal questions on the program or, anything that I didn't mention, go ahead and feel free to hit me up. Again, that's Recalibrate_pod. And let's see if we can get maybe Nick on here in the future, and we'll talk to the man himself.
I'm pretty sure he'll probably be on really soon.
Yeah, well, hopefully we can get him on, and we can ask him some, maybe go over some of the things I forgot to mention, and just do a deeper dive into how he got started and some of the great shit that he's come up with. All right, babe, any closing thoughts, remarks?
No, just get after it, you guys.
Yeah, hit it. Don't sit around. Don't waste this great life that we got. Anyway, thanks for listening. We'll see you on the next one.